Hello chat, I finally remembered the password to my Eat account JK. Today I'll be going over some tips to get better at Cube Warfare in BLOXD.io. Thanks to one of you guys who asked me to do this video. I'm definitely not in my prime anymore and I'm super rusty. This video will have more beginner-oriented tips and I'll make a second video with tips that I think are more advanced. So before we start, thanks for 10 subscribers, it means a lot, and please don't unsubscribe and bring the number down to below 10 or it will be slightly embarrassing. Okay, let's start. Currently, there are 4.5 maps in Cube Warfare. Snow Base, Newtown, Sienna, and Roundabout, which has two variations, green and blue. Green has a second area with trees and cobblestone blocks, while blue, the area behind one of the buildings, is expanded like this. By knowing the layout of each map, you will definitely improve since you're more aware of your surroundings. Importantly, I find it useful to know where the spawn points for each map are. I'll show them now. do show some map-specific strategies in my videos, so you should watch those to smiley face. If you run into a group of people shooting you, you will die. If you take an alternative path out of their line of sight, you won't die. Then you can kill them from behind and rack up points. Okay, now let's take a look at some examples. I noticed red spawning at this tower thing. This guy turns his back on me, so I just get a kill. And I can now use the high ground to jump across to red spawn. And I now get free kills. Anyone with their back turned to you is usually a pretty easy kill. I see someone on this tree, but they're out of my line of sight. They're shooting at the rest of my team. So I go behind where they're shooting from and sneak up on them. I also noticed the cluster of enemies on the plateau. Now the two that haven't noticed me are free kills. Another way to apply this is by getting behind your opponent in combat. I wouldn't call this flanking, but it has a similar concept of backstabbing someone. I'm pretty sure this is a land PvP technique too. Here are some examples. They have spawn immunity, so I can't shoot until they shoot. I go behind him so I don't get shot. I'm mid-spawn kill when this guy tries to shoot me. Jumping over them makes it harder for them to hit you and easier to If you're being shot at, a simple way to not die is to find cover. Cover helps you reload, heal up, and prepare yourself if you happen to be unprepared. When you're reloading, it's generally better to do it in cover or out of the line of sight of enemies. Generally, as long as you're out of the enemy's line of sight, you have cover. Here are some moments where getting cover saves me. Didn't expect for someone to be here, so I'm unprepared. He aims at me and can probably kill me here, especially since I'm below 70 health. I take cover to reload and wait out his shot before going back in to kill. I have to reload, so I go behind the stairs for cover. Someone shoots at me just as I start reloading. I use the wall to get out of their line of sight as I finish reloading. Even without a threat, I still use the wall as cover when reloading just in case. Here's an example where not taking cover screws me over. I try to kill this guy, but I can't aim sad face. He has time to react, and instead of taking cover while I reload, I stupidly decide to stay out so I die. As you can see, it never hurts to take cover, especially since you get to keep your power-ups if you don't die. If you see someone shooting at you and you're not confident that you can hit back, don't shoot back. Okay, now onto high ground. High ground is useful for scoping out enemy positions, which lets you know where to approach from. If your gun has good enough range like the ones mentioned on screen, you can just sit on high ground and farm kills. Rooftops also offer some protection, since it's easier to get out of other people's line of sight. Okay, example time. People tend not to look up. I also get a good view of where red is spawning here and can spawn kill safely. I can see where blue is spawning, and while my view is obstructed by this tree, it makes it harder for them to hit me too. long as your opponents don't see you, this is a pretty okay strategy. While on high ground, you are also an easy target though, so make sure you're prepared or have cover. Don't be like this guy who died because he decided to bridge, but thanks for the bridge though it helped later on in the game. Basically, high ground lets you see enemies clearly and make easy shots, but it also makes you an easy target. Some easy places to apply this are the roof and snow base, plateaus and cabins, rooftops and roundabout and Nuketown. Okay, that's all. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it if you stayed until here. Please let me know in the comments whether the text-to-speech voice I'm using is too weird, lol. Thanks for watching. I may make another video with more advanced tips, so subscribe for that.